Hello Tube Dwellers and welcome. I'm the Arcadean and today we are looking at Ultimate Era of Dragons, a fun ultimate field flooding kind of card that can really take your opponent by surprise. So let's take a look at it. Alright, so first of all, as you can see here, we're running a dual color deck. This is unusual. Generally you want to run 3 colors, but for this kind of ultimate card that you really need the resources for, you've got to just focus on getting that gold and ramp all the way up there. So we'll start out with a couple of gold rushes. This is obvious, it's just hopefully a way of getting more gold. As you can see here, there is a 25% chance you'll get nothing, another 25% chance you'll get equal to the cost, and then a 50% chance you'll actually gain a profit off casting the spell. You really want to do this basically as early on as possible. You don't really want to be throwing this out at level 3 because it can turn out to be fairly costly. So we have 2 of those. To quickly throw them out, once you hit level 3, they can be used as discard cards to generate the gold that you may require. Next up is Slingshot. Gold just doesn't have any really good removals at the moment, but you absolutely need to control the board at levels 1 and 2, so Slingshot's there to help out. Same sort of thing with Paralyzing Bomb. If your opponent just goes super aggro and you just really need an extra couple of turns to get the gold up, throw out the Paralyzing Bomb. Next up, we have Faith and Certain Victory. This is just kind of a fun card that I threw in there. Sometimes, you know, you'll be ready to bring out your dragons, but your opponent will have a field that's full of creatures. The Faith and Certain Victory can just help out by buffing one of your dragons up and just turning it into like the centralized threat. You can easily replace that with another surprise attack, though, if you really want to. Next up is Holy Missile, just a nice low 1-cost removal spell for white there, very handy. And Goblin Bomb Squad is here to act as a delaying tactic. A very, very good card to throw out at the beginning if your opponent brings out something that you just don't want to spend resources on, you know, outright removing with a spell. Goblin Bomb Squad's a very good defensive unit. Next up we have Lorna. She's excellent for just throwing down some pressure onto your opponent. You don't really need to worry about conserving light too much. Save up for the ambush, throw out the ambush, and then you can bring out Lorna as much as you like, really. Very good in the late game, especially if your opponent does somehow manage to kill enough of your dragons that you don't have Fatal on the board anymore. Next up we have Book of Knowledge. Now this was nerfed from Mabinogi Duel, so it's not the powerhouse that it once was, but it's definitely very, very helpful for playing at levels 1 or 2 in order to ramp you up. If you go second on at the very beginning of the game, throw out the Book of Knowledge immediately. If you go first, then you may want to charge and then throw out the Book of Knowledge, or perhaps save it for level 2 ramp up. Next up is Surprise Attack, standard removal. Again, this deck is very, very heavy on the removal. You want to focus on that as much as possible in order to ensure that you can bring out your dragons. And then we have Ambush, absolutely necessary card in this deck. You're going to be letting a few shots go through. Your health is going to be fairly low by the time you hit level 3. So Ambush is going to clear out all of the creatures that are causing you so many problems. Hopefully your opponent will overcommit to the board. You can throw out an ambush, wipe them out, and then your dragons have no issues whatsoever with dealing Fatal. And finally, the Ultimate Era of Dragons itself. Now, if you get incredibly lucky with your gold charges and so on and so forth, you may possibly be able to bring this out at level 2, but generally, like 99% of the time, it's a level 3 drop. Ultimate Era of Dragons resists Ambush, it resists Firewall. The only AoE removal spell that it doesn't resist is Earthquake and Doppelganger's Trauma. The advantage to this is that most veteran players won't run Earthquake or Doppelganger's Trauma. Earthquake is super, super, super expensive, and Doppelganger's Trauma is just far too niche most of the time. So generally you're going to be okay, but if you're going up against somebody and they're running nature and you think maybe Earthquake, make sure you force them to drain their nature resources before you play your dragons, otherwise you are in a lot of trouble. It's possible to win even after your dragons get taken out, but it's not easy. So that's the deck. As far as substitutions go, as I mentioned, Faith and Certain Victory can be substituted out for another removal spell, and if you wanted to, you could switch out Slingshot, Goblin Bomb Squad, and conceivably even throw Paralyzing Bomb for more light removal. You don't want to have like more slingshots. That's it's a Hail Mary kind of thing. But you could unbalance your deck and make it very white heavy with removals and then focus purely on gold generation if you really wanted to. The deck's quite flexible, really. Focus just predominantly is gaining gold and removing enemy creatures. Speaking of gaining gold, as you can see over on the left-hand side, we're using Tina. I'm using the special sort of Persian-style skin just because I love it to pieces. But Tina's definitely your go-to here. You're going to be taking a lot of damage at level 1 and 2, and possibly even a fair amount at level 3, so Tina will just help to keep that HP level high. And you don't need to worry too much about your opponent gaining the HP as well. Your opponent is almost always going to have full health by the time you bring out the dragons, but the dragons themselves are going to just really do some work. So, without any further ado, let's jump into a battle and see how this deck goes. Okay, Wind Hitty. And we're going first, so we won't drop the Book of Knowledge immediately. I'm going to charge up first, and we'll say hello. This is a practice game, right? I appreciate good sportsmanship. And she drops an Elven Archer. That's not ideal, but we'll play the Book of Knowledge anyway and get ready to level up to 2. As I said during the deck building section, you're gonna take health damage when you play this kind of deck. You just are. So there's 5 on the board. We're okay with that. We'll level up to 2. That's only going to take us down to 24. She follows suit. And because they're playing Mari, we're still more or less equal in terms of HP, no big deal there. We throw out the Gold Rush, which does give us a little bit. Will this one give us some more? It does, okay, so we gained 2 extra gold that way. It's not bad. We would have gotten the same amount if we discarded the cards, but hey. Oh, Elf Hero Trace. Okay, so she's playing an extremely aggressive aggro flood deck. Okay, that's what the fairy's for, that makes sense. We'll throw out the Ambush then, that'll clear that field nicely. Good. We don't worry too much about flood decks, and we'll charge up, and it goes into light. It's not ideal. We don't really need it to go into light. Mana Thief comes out. We can hit that with a Holy Missile, no big deal, and she revives from the grave, which is fine for us because it means she takes a little bit of extra damage. So we Holy Missile, we level up, and we're back to equal amount of HP. Although she's going to level up. There we go, and gain some more. All right, so she's almost back to being able to summon Triss again. We charge, we get some gold, which is really nice. Light, not so great. And gold, which is pretty good. Okay, so that leaves us with 3 to get the Ear of Dragons. That'll be 2 at the beginning of our next turn, so we can discard 2 cards in order to bring out the dragons. She brings out a slime. Tripping over my words, I'm so excited. The dragons are coming, the dragons are coming. So we will just discard the Paralyzing Bomb. That's no use to us right now. And the Slingshot, again, no use to us. We'll keep the Bomb Squad just in case something goes horrifically wrong. But even though she's running Nature, she can't bring out an Earthquake. She's got no resources for it. So the slimes are going to start duplicating themselves in that way that they do. This is going to take a while. We will kill all of these slimes, of course, but they're going to duplicate for quite a while. Alright, there we go, and this dragon will kill the last 2. Good, alright, and then we get 2 more dragons out onto the field. She could hit some of them. I mean, she can hit them with a firewall to get them down to 1 HP apiece. She goes for the fireball, that will kill 1 but not the other 2. And goes for a Bullet of Illusion, that's not going to be enough. We don't have Fatal on the board anymore though, which may be what she was counting on. But we can drop a Lorna now, and that gives us another, gives us 4 9 attack value creatures on the field. I don't really think she's going to be able to deal with that kind of pressure now. She'd have to take out all of them, and with 2 and 4 resources, it's not really going to happen. Hunt comes out, takes care of one of the dragons. I think that was just spitting in my face, I think. Yeah, it was. He was just killing the dragons that she could kill. So, good job to our opponent. Well played. Squee, what was that? I don't... That's not a very good job. It sounds like I'm mocking them. I'm not mocking them. It was well played. It was an interesting aggro deck. So, charge up 3 times, and little Lorna actually manages to land the finishing blow. I can do it too. Good job, Lorna. And well played to Wind Hitty. Good game. And that was the Ultimate Era of Dragons deck. As you can see, very powerful and difficult for your opponent to deal with once you manage to bring out those dragons. So if you would like to copy this deck directly into your game, there's the share code up in the top right hand corner as always. And that is it from me. I hope this deck helped. I hope you have fun with it. Give it a try. Let me know how it goes. And please remember to smash those like and subscribe buttons down below for more content like this in the future. Until next time, guys, have fun and good luck.